Well, hello, and welcome back to that thing we like to call Curless Mania, where we talk all things pop, rock, and prog. And man, am I excited today. I say that all the time, but I can't help it. My guests are so awesome. I get so excited. So he must have had a good time the first time he did this. Because he's back for more. So Mr. Stephen Reid, how are you today?
I am very well, Tom, and thank you for inviting me back for a part two. We've got a sequel.
Part
Right?
two.
We must be doing something right. This is a sequel.
Yes, yes, it is. Yes, indeed. And that's exactly what we're here to do. We are here to talk more Marillion, which is always okay in my book. And we just decided, you know what? Let's just talk about the Fish era. I mean, it's not that many records. We can do it. We'll just have to figure out times and make sure we got it all lined up and let's do it. So, if you check out our episode on Script for a Jester's Tier, not too long ago. And now we are back to talk about the sophomore Marillion album called Fugazi. Oh, you got the nice reissue. I love it. Oh,
But you've got the beautiful cover. See, that's the difference. I've brought the lovely version here, which I
right.
will talk about. But
Yes.
the vinyl for the cover art is where it's at. Let's be honest, because
Yes, the cover is so great. I love the art. As usual, love the artwork, right?
and I love how it echoes the debut. I love how there's so many kind of things that reference the debut art wise, but also move things on our jester because he's still a jester. You can
Yes.
see that he's wearing it in the mirror, even though he's not quite wearing it on the
Right.
bed. He's a man of success now. He's kind of hit the heights. We've gone from a bed sit into a kind of yuppie flat, I suppose. Although it wouldn't be
Yes.
yuppies in the 80s, but it would be in the 90s. So yes, but not necessarily having a fantastic time, judging by the look on his face. So yeah, Mark Wilkinson's art is just
Now, is
fantastic.
he? Here's a question for you. Is he having a drug overdose? That's what I've. Some people think he's having. I don't know that that's true. That I don't. I think people are just reading into it. I don't think that's
I
true.
don't believe that he's having a drug
No.
overdose, but let's just say he's having an enhanced time of it,
Yes.
is what he's doing.
Yes.
It's more, I think, a comment on success and how success doesn't always necessarily equal what you would like it to be. So instead of kind of the aspiring musician, we've got copies of what's on the spine of this Billboard magazine and various things here. So we've kind of made the big thing. This guy's made it. It's happening, and yet still not necessarily a happy chap.
Yes.
So
Exactly.
yeah,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
also alludes to a lot of the lyrics on the album. This is not a cheerful kind of happy
No.
bounce
No.
lyric album anyway. Musically, totally different, but not
It-
lyrically.
I forgot about that when I listened to this again for this. I was like, oh yeah, these
Mm,
lyrics. There's not a lot of happiness going on this
mm,
record,
mm.
but
No.
but hey, so real quick, hold up the reissue again. So we were talking about how Pete was on my channel and we did a Jethro Tull video, and
Mhm. Yep.
we were talking about how Jethro Tull is like the gold standard for reissues, and he said, "Yeah, and Marillion." He like quickly
Absolutely.
said, "And Marillion." I mean, look at that.
Yes.
That's another awesome
Yep.
reissue. Uh,
The absolute gold of these, I have, I probably can't say they're all behind other things that are up here. I've been lucky enough, I've got the whole set so far, is that every one of them comes with a documentary that includes the band that's about an hour long that just focuses on this period of time. So the one for Script has Mick Pointer. I think you've got Diz Minute speaking in there. So they've really kind of dug into exactly what the journey was. And then, oh, I forget which, 'cause it's a while since I've watched them, but one of them, one of the first four, I think it might be Misplaced Childhood, Fish is sitting at the mixing desk with the band. And that dynamic is fascinating because he's still the dominating force. When he talks, everyone else kind of goes. Honestly, it's an amazing watch, but watching all of them, you can't get a more official history and a more detailed history than just listening to the band take you through the different eras. Really, really good stuff. Really good stuff.
okay, so it's like on my shopping list now. Like I need that. Like that's it sounds like a need item.
And I
Uh,
think that some of these have been reissued because they were very expensive for a period of time. But I think most of the early ones have been reissued again. So hopefully you should get them for a decent price too.
Okay, okay. Yeah, I'll take a look. I'll take a look because I mean that was, it was just funny because, Pete said that, he goes, and Marillion. He's like, Marillion also did this, and they kick butt, these
Yeah,
reissues. So,
they do,
uh,
because I mean
yeah,
they've got all of the same kind of stuff as the Tull stuff. You've got great artwork, you've got essays inside, and the essays don't just parrot what's in the documentaries. It's worth
right.
actually delving into both. Anyway, enough of the sales pitch for something I
Oh,
can't
it's
sell.
oh, it's great. It's great. It's great. Anyway, love it. Love it. So Fugazi. Yeah, let's do like a quick, real fast rundown. So second album, of course. Mark, as we talked about, Mark Wilkinson did the cover again. More awesome artwork. Released on March 12th, 1984. Recorded November 83 to February 84 at like 5 or 6 different studios. It was like it was quite a lot of recording in a lot of different places. Um, and produced by Nick Tauber,
Yep.
and and released by, on EMI. And so yeah, and from what I understand, and we can get into this, but from what I understand, this album was a little bit like, I want to not say rushed, but like they wanted the second album, and they had to finish it, and they kind of got pushed a little bit. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, well, there's a mixture of things going on at this point. Yes, EMI have given them a date, and that's when the album is to be ready by. But, and they went back with the same producer because Nick Talbot produced the debut as well.
Right.
They loved that experience. That's why they thought Dream Team, let's do the same again, bring it all together.
Yep.
But the story goes that in the studio the second time round, Nick kind of lost focus and started to get really fixated on things like finding the perfect hidden guitar chord that he just couldn't quite find and all this sound. And that's why at the end, because the album wasn't finished and it wasn't ready, they'd run out of studio time. So they ended up in this studio and that studio and finishing this bit and trying that bit.
Right.
And therefore, and this is where this comes in for me, the band are known for not liking the sound of the original version of this album. They don't like that. And I didn't know until this came out that that's always been my issue with this album. I love Fugazi.
Right.
I've never quite felt that I fully got it. This, the remix on this, it's just fantastic. You hear things on this one that you don't hear on the original. There are backing vocals, there's more intricacy, there's more depth. The band felt that the warmth that they got on Misplaced Childhood is just lacking from Fugazi. It's a very dark and sterile album. And that kind of comes through in the material as well. I think, truthfully, the material is dark and moody, not depressing, but lyrically depressing. But it's definitely, as we've already said, this is not a cheerful album. This is not something to put on at a party and kind of
Yeah.
get into.
Right. Yeah.
But so therefore, the production did kind of lend itself to the songs. But hearing the kind of reworked version on this, genuinely, for someone that's lived with this album basically all my life,
Right. Right.
it really did make me kind of stop in my tracks one day and go, "Wow, this is something else entirely." Now I get it. Now I absolutely get it. It was really quite an eye opener. And I'm not a remix kind of guy or a remaster guy. I tend not to get too deep down the, oh, this version's better than that version. But the UK US version over the Canadian, I don't really do that kind of stuff.
Right.
And ever and again something comes along that makes me go, wow, okay, this is the version. And to me, this is the version. Others may disagree because obviously the original is the album that they know. But
No,
it
I,
was
I,
true.
I'm with you. It's like really refreshing when you go, wow, this actually. I mean, like we were saying about some of the Steven Wilson remixes. He does such a good job, and he like, it's almost like, it's like your car window, and you like, it's like, oh, I didn't realize there was a thing of
Yeah,
dirt, like a dirt,
yeah,
like I can see again. I didn't realize how dirty it was.
yeah. Because
Uh,
this one, if I can find it, I will tell me on here somewhere. Can't actually remember who did the remaster on this. That's terrible. I should have looked on that first. It isn't Stephen Wilson that does this, but it's a really great job. It's a great job. On it, I can't recommend this highly enough for
cool,
people who haven't heard it. It's really,
cool.
really good.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, so this is It's interesting because so maybe you kind of wonder if some of the writing, I mean, because it's the old thing of like you got your whole life to write your first album, and then suddenly the second record is like, we need a second, you have a hit, which is great, you got a hit, but now they're like, we need a second record, we need a second record. And it's like, and someone like, a band like Marillion, they're not just writing 2-minute pop songs. These guys are writing epics and prog with prog elements and different time signatures and different sections. And it's like it's not like you can just crank those out in 2 seconds. Oh, this is what I was gonna say before I forget, because you said something about the band not loving the sound. And it's funny how, like, you see Rothery always talks about his guitar sound. He's like, yeah, he's like, he didn't love the guitar sound on the first album. He kind of like didn't really like it that much on this album. And then, but he always talks about Chris Kimsey. He's like, when we got to Chris Kimsey,
Yeah.
everything sounded amazing. And that's like clutching at straws, right?
Yeah, that seemed to be for him when the clouds parted
Yeah.
in terms of his sound and his tone. Um, I love his sound and tone really on all certainly the first five albums.
I like it
I
all.
really
Yeah.
do. Yeah,
Me too.
absolutely. And I like what he's doing now as well. Although it's not the kind of early classic sound, he's still unmistakable. So yeah, but I think his perfectionist side has probably helped the band over the years because that eye for detail has come across in most of what they've done. I think.
Yeah, yeah, no, it's great. But yeah, I just wanted to put that in there because I always read these things about, like you said, he must be a perfectionist because I don't have, like you said, I don't have a problem with the guitar sounds at all, really. I think they
I love.
sound pretty great.
Yep, yep. You and me both.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So let's get into the record. So Assassin starts the album, and I think it's a great opener. I love Assassin. I think it starts out very quiet, sort of building things, sort of foreshadow, and then you hear a little bit of and it kind of reminds you a little bit. There's a little foreshadowing on this record for Misplaced Childhood. Like there's
Yep.
little moments where you're like, oh, that's kind of sounds like that, or that kind of sounds like that. In the beginning of this record where it kind of goes to this, it's like a little bit of atmosphere, little cymbal crashes here and there, a little guitar, and then all of a sudden, boom, it kicks into that, that big that riff or whatever. And well, and Ian Mosley makes himself known very quickly, right? Like all of a sudden you're like, there he is. So what's your take on Assassin?
Oh well, my take on Assassin is that it is. I'm going to say it's my favourite Fish era Marillion song. Might go beyond that and
Wow.
be. It's certainly top two or three Marillion songs of all time for me. I love Assassin. I enjoy just the way that it's constructed, the way that it's put together. I love that. Those kind of keyboards and everything at the start. As you say,
So
it does kind of foreshadow. And then those drums that come in.
yes.
How to introduce the drummer to the band is just fantastic. It's kind of Middle Eastern in flavors early on. It's mystic. You get kind of clacking percussion as well. And then there's a minute and 33 seconds go by before Fish goes, shot. And you think, well, and suddenly we're on a different song entirely. Ding, 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 ding. And we've got like a
Yeah,
new wave bit of guitar suddenly that kicks in there. If you
right.
isolate the guitar out, you go, that shouldn't fit with it, but it really
But it
does.
does. It
Really,
does.
really does. And yet it's all still, it's mysterious and it's dark, and yet somehow they've made a sing along at the same time. It's the
Yeah.
sort of song that you can maybe shout along as a bad singer like me. But there's so much going on here. I love the kind of the backing vocals with the my friend that's always
Yes.
going
Oh,
there. So it's all these. I love arrangements of sort, and I love how they put all this stuff together. Killer guitar solo, absolutely killer guitar solo. And then I love it when it goes back into that instrumental section that kind of throws back to the intro where you've got the drums again and it
right.
all kind of rebuilds. And it's just such interestingly, or I think it's interesting, on this is a singles collection. So this is a compilation. Okay.
Right.
Otherwise known on the disc itself as six of one and half a dozen of the other, because it's got six Fish songs on it and six Hogarth songs on
Okay.
it. It's
All right.
oddly sequenced to go Fish, Hogarth, Fish.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
That's
absolutely. Okay. But there's a version of Assassin on here that reinstates a section just before it goes right back into that instrumental breakdown where we go back to the intro. And
right.
it adds a different kind of few bars of percussion. that really changed the mood and really changed the tone. And I remember hearing that for the first time and going, what is this?
What's
Where
happening?
did this come from? But
Right.
they cut it from the version that made the album and just felt for a compilation it was worth putting it back in.
Hmm.
I really like it, I have
Yeah.
to say. And I love having both versions. So yeah, and there's an extended version on this fabulous thing as well.
Oh, look at
So
you. Your show and tell is always like out of this world. Like this is awesome. Awesome.
they did great picture discs at this stage.
Yeah.
So yes, there's like on an original version. So there's also I've got a 7-inch cut through somewhere else. It's a great song. I love this song. I really do. I just and what a way to open an album. It's so good.
Yeah, I even love the that the main thing that kind of through the verses that
Yeah.
you get that guitar keyboard like back and forth and it's like that is such a cool and it's a great groove like it grooves
Yeah.
and I always feel like this song is like one of the prime examples of them. I always feel like Marillion at the time was kind of like balancing between like trying to be proggy but also
Mhm.
trying to be accessible, right? So they're doing that constant balance of that. And this song like really nails that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's got both. Uh,
Yes. And I think it's interesting because the song we'll come to next is I'm trying not to do both.
right,
So
right.
that's the interesting thing because this to me works as a progressive epic, but it also works as an edited down 7-inch single. They
Yeah.
weren't necessarily trying to do both at that point, but it works as both. But when they try and do a single, it's good. So what is next then is there we go, Punch and Judy, right?
Punch Judy. Yes, yes.
So okay, so this is an interesting song because this is the band writing a single.
Yes.
Realistically, it's
Right.
just over 3 minutes long on a Marillion album at this stage. It's kind of like, wow, that's a bit bonkers.
Right.
Um, and this was written prior to the album really kind of getting the groove together and they really knew where they were going with it. So I'm going to go off a real tangent here, Tom. I'm going to throw you a curveball, okay? Because these
I'm
two
ready.
make
I'm ready.
good. Get the glove out because these two make for an interesting in many ways, okay? Because Marillion going on tour for Script for the Jester's Tear, okay? And
Okay.
at the end of that tour, they sacked their founding member and drummer, Mick Pointer,
Right.
okay?
Yep.
And from there, the journey between Script and Fugazi is Spinal Tap. It's all about finding the drummer, realistically.
Right. Right.
Okay? So if you go and watch the video for Garden Party from Script, you'll see this guy in the band that you'll go, well, that's not Mick Pointer and it's not Ian Mosley because he's Andy Ward from Camel. Because
Oh
he was in
wow.
the band, okay? He played with the band for a few months. He toured the US with the band. He was a member of Marillion for a short space of time.
Okay.
Unfortunately, he was going through a hard time at this stage. That's part of the reason he left Camel. So being back out on the road with a young band who were full on, shall we say, when they were not on
Yeah.
stage,
Right.
wasn't necessarily the wisest thing for him to do. Okay. So he had a bit of a meltdown when they were somewhere in the US, kind of blew up in a hotel lobby somewhere, started harassing guests and various things, and they put him on a plane and sent him home.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then they
Okay.
got back to the UK and they had a date to play at the Reading Festival, which was a ginormous festival
Huge
in the
fest.
UK.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. And Andy Ward plays percussion, not drums. Okay, so a guy called John Martyr plays drums with the band with Andy Ward on percussion at this stage. So the B side or B sides to Punch and Judy are Market Square Heroes and Three Boats Down from the Candy. So that's the two songs from the debut single, and they are re-recorded with John Martin on drums.
Oh, okay.
Okay, now the idea, nobody really knows what the idea for these songs were. It was meant to be something the record label wanted, whether they were going to do something with them, but they never got used. So the band thought, well, let's not have these sitting in the vault for the record label to do something with down the line. And we don't necessarily want them to do that, but that will stick them on the B side to the first single. So they've been reproduced. And the idea was, as we discussed a few weeks ago, the band didn't the band never like the production, do they? They really didn't like the production on the debut single, so this is re-recorded, reproduced, different drummer.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay.
Okay,
There we go.
um,
Yeah.
but okay, as
Right.
we continue to go, although not on the back of this, Marillion have one of those bands that subsequently have gone back and corrected some of the writing credits. So on the back of this, it says Punch and Judy, written by Marillion. Now, the guy who was on drums in Marillion for Punch and Judy was a gentleman called Jonathan Mover. Okay, so who we'll know from GTR with Steve Howe and Steve Hackett. I've seen him live with Joe Satriani. So now he's in the band. So I'm now including Mick Pointer. We're on drummer number 4. Okay. All right. Um,
Right.
but he didn't last very long. He went out on tour and they played some dates. Fish didn't like him very much. You'll excuse me, I'm quoting him, not me. He's very American, was Fish's complaint. Okay,
Right.
I'm not going to say him
Right.
here. Um,
Yeah.
I, but there was also an age difference. So even though Marillion were a young band at this stage, these guys had been around. So Jonathan Mover, Mark Kelly suggested it was like having your little brother out on tour with you. So all he did was talk about drums, and he was just kind of didn't mesh with the band and all these various things. So he sat in for Punch and Judy because that was always going to be the first single. So
Mhm.
therefore, he has a writing credit subsequently as part of that song. And then as they go into Fugazi, they get a session musician. They get a session drummer who happens to be called Ian Mosley. So the
Okay.
guy here on this album isn't a member of Marillion yet.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Okay,
All right.
so he best known for being in Steve Hackett's band at this stage, but he had been a theatre drummer. So he'd be the guy in the pit sitting playing along with the people up on stage, and he'd
Right.
been in
Right.
France and recorded with these people and those people, and he was just everywhere. His book, "Do I Owe You Money?" Because that's how. If anyone said, "Are you Ian Mosley?" that was the answer. "Do I owe you money?" Because that's the only time anybody ever spoke to him. That's
Right.
fascinating. It's filled with just little stories and quips from an amazing career, that has to be
Right.
said. So he, as a session musician, helped Marillion write and record this. And only afterwards, when they played a couple of shows, did they manage to convince each other that he should join the band. And subsequently, as he joined the band, he had to take a pay cut because as a session musician, he was being paid more than the band.
Yes. Okay. Okay.
So
Gotcha.
he took a pay cut, but
Gotcha.
he said to the management at that time, John Arneson, "I'll take a pay cut because these guys are really good and there's maybe a future here and I'd love to be in a band, but I can't go on the wages that they're on because I can't pay my mortgage on those wages." So the
Right.
whole band got a raise. Because he joined how to make yourself very popular right from the start.
Right. Wow. Yeah, he negotiated a raise for everybody, basically.
Absolutely. Yeah, there you go. So anyway, a very roundabout way of saying yes, Punch and Judy.
Yes. So there you go. I mean, no, that was great. That was awesome. That was very educational tangent right there. So my question, of course, at the time, my friends and I, we were like, oh yeah, like Ian Mosley played with Hackett, because we were
Yeah.
huge Hackett guys and Genesis people, and we're like, oh, he played with Hackett, and so what album? I'm trying to remember what album he played on. It wasn't Defector. It was
Now,
um
I've been very knowledgeable there and I can't remember this. So there you go.
Yeah, I can't remember what album.
That's
Anyway, he had an album and a tour with Hackett. It's gonna bug me because I know what it is, but it's gonna come. Maybe it'll hit me eventually. But anyway, yeah. So he was well. I mean, so of course, coming from having some Genesis connection, I'm sure
yeah.
Marillion was yes. That's another
Yeah.
like gold star for him, right? Um, but he's an excellent drummer and really, I mean, just really shows himself very well on this record. I mean, I think all through the album,
Yes. It's interesting because I've written in my notes for somewhere that I stood up for Mick Pointer when we spoke about script because those drum fills to me are iconic. They're perfect for the songs. There's the odd occasion where you kind of go, yeah, this could be tighter. It could be a this or it could be that. And then you come and hear Ian Mosley on Fugazi and you go, ah, I know nothing because this guy's so much better.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, whether
Yeah.
I like what Mick Pointer does on the debut or not, and I do, Ian Mosley is such an upgrade. It's unbelievable. It really is. It's just it's night and day. The flow that he has is something that Mick Pointer will just never have. And I've seen him recently with the Arena, and he still doesn't have it. I still love to see him. He's still a great drummer and all that kind of thing, but it's noticeably not what you mostly would do here.
Yeah, it's definitely like you said, there's a rhythm and a flow that kind of changes when Ian's a little, so but to your point, I really don't have that much of a we both said we didn't have much of a problem with his drumming. And but I love that you said they probably wrote him pretty hard in the studio. That's probably true on that first record. I don't probably a lot of takes. But Highly Strung is the album I'm thinking of. I think that's the Hackett record he was on.
Yeah, I think you may be right. Yes, I think you may be right.
It just hit me. So anyway, we are on serious tangents. So let's get back to
Sorry,
the
that's
record.
all my fault.
Oh no, it's all good. It was all good stuff. So we're back to the record now. So Punch and Judy is the single, right? And like you said, Jonathan Mover got a writing credit. So obviously he must have something to do with the rhythm of it, or something. They gave him a credit, so he
You would
must have,
imagine, yes, absolutely. Yeah,
that do that do
yeah,
So I yeah, they definitely, you can tell they're trying hard to have some kind of single material here, radio
yeah.
play material. I think it's a pretty cool track. I mean, I do love again, I love Fish's vocal on just vocals generally on this album. He's really given it 110%. I mean, he's really pushing himself to the edge on a lot of these songs, and even this song where he's doing the I mean, he's really like hitting the high, trying to hit those high notes as hard much as he with as much power as possible.
Yep.
Um, and I do, and it's kind of that punch, 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 and Judy punch, punch. I mean, it's got that sort of it's sort of catchy. But it sounds like you're kind of on this song. What's your take on it?
I've had a kind of an on-off relationship with Punch and Judy over the years. It was the first Marillion single that I bought. It wasn't the first one that was in the house, but it was the first one that I bought. So I played it to death, loved it, and I don't know if I sickened myself of it, but it kind of felt a little bit forced for a long time to me. And over the years, I've come back round to it.
Right.
Um, and I think it makes a lot more sense actually as part of the album than it does as a standalone single. It's not the most, it maybe is the most sing-alongable song on this album in terms of a chorus,
Yes. Yes. Right.
but it just doesn't quite have the same mystique and mystery and majesty that the rest of this album does for me. It's not
Yeah.
necessarily even my least favorite thing on it, because put side one together and side one's pretty flawless, I
Right.
would suggest.
Yeah.
Um, but Stand It Alone, and this is an interesting thing when you kind of break albums down. Stand Punch and Judy Alone, I like it. Put it as part of the album, and I can't imagine it not being there. It's an important bridge between where we came from and where we went to, but
Yes.
especially with the way that it starts, because you come straight in after Assassin, and as we spoke about with Script, less so on Fugazi. We don't flow from song to song without the breaks,
Yeah. Yeah.
but
Yep.
I'm one of these weird people that likes the silence in between the songs. And I love it when you know an album well enough to know exactly where the silence starts and finishes. So
Yep.
one song can stop and you can come in on the next one. And
Yep.
Punch and Judy just comes in and just moves the album on in such a great way that I love it as part of the album.
Hmm.
Never loved it as a single.
Yeah, there you go. I like that. So I mean, and it did stay on the set list for a long time. I mean, they played it
Yeah,
live a lot. I think people like the doot doot doot. Like people would just get
yeah.
really into it. So yeah, no, but I agree with you. I think it fits well on the on side one, and but we head into Jigsaw, which is um, like you're kind of saying, is like things kind of change. Like there's like a sea change here with Jigsaw. Um, Kind of a simpler keyboard riff kind of reminds me again. I know I talk a lot about like these sort of like a little bit of lavender in there, like it's almost like you can hear certain places of misplaced childhood like coming in. But I love it. I think it's great. It kind of reminds me of like a music box or something.
Yeah.
um and it's pretty hard not to be taken in by that stand straight. I mean, it's look me in the eye. It's like, yeah,
And say goodbye. Yeah,
yeah,
I
just that's
love
like
it.
just like
Great.
yeah, like
Yeah,
it just
absolutely.
there's something about when that kicks in. But yeah, I mean, it seems like it's a song about a breakup or something, but talking about ricochets and I don't know.
Yes.
What do you think?
Well, we've got Assassin at the very start of the album is a song about, well, people think it's about Mick Pointer being fired. It's actually about Fish firing Des Minute. So the original, not original, but the bassist that joined the band with him.
Oh,
So
interesting.
so he's the assassin. He's the assassin. Okay,
Right.
he assassins but sings,
Yep.
and he took on the role along with Mark Kelly as the guy that went and said, "It's time for you to go, mate." Even though they'd been in all these bands before Marillion together, so this is him kind of admitting how bad he feels, and then
Like
when we
my
start,
friend. That's why he keeps saying my friend,
that's
right?
it,
Yeah, yeah,
absolutely, and
yeah,
it's a song about him, and he doesn't put himself in a good light at all. It's all
yeah,
about how he can do that and be okay with it. Really,
yeah,
is
yeah.
what it is. And then
Interesting.
the album moves very much into relationship lyrics until we get to the title track. And they really are all about kind of failed relationships. And this is Punch and Judy's a marriage that's kind of gone wrong. Jigsaw then becomes, as you say, about a dysfunctional relationship that's missing certain pieces and various things like that. And we move from an album that's very much a kind of worldview into an album that suddenly Fish feels much more personal about, I think.
Right.
And same again, we're foreshadowing maybe into Misplaced Childhood, where he's starting to feel more comfortable, kind of bringing more of him
Yeah.
into the
Yeah.
songs. In
Right.
that sense, I'm not suggesting these are all about his relationships, although some of them undoubtedly are.
Hmm.
But yes, we start to move. It's interesting that the album's bookended by songs that don't really do that. Just about everything else in between is pretty much about the relationship thing,
Sounds
which is,
pretty personal. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, and you wouldn't necessarily see Marillion as a relationship band, and they
Yeah.
kind of always are, really, in many
Kind
ways.
of
It's
are.
yeah,
Yeah.
they kind of are. Yeah, absolutely. But
Yeah.
I love Jigsaw. I really do.
Oh, yeah.
It
Yeah.
was when I was young, because this I was 11 when this album came out. This was just one of those songs that was kind of more easy to get into. Does that make sense? As you say, it's kind of simpler at the start, and it's got those kind of easier keyboard passages. The stand straight part is just you're always going to be ready for that, and you sing along with that, and
Yeah.
it's a perfect way to hook you into the song. And I like the kind of vocal whispers that work alongside the main vocal as the song comes to an end. I
Yeah.
also really like, I mean, it's got a classic key change in it, but it drops a key. Most songs, when they do the key change, they come up,
Go
and
up. Yeah.
it's all brighter. And isn't the world fantastic now? And suddenly every song is better with a key change. This
Yeah.
one key changes, but it's perfect.
Yeah.
It
It's
should make
perfect.
no sense, but it's really, really good. So yeah, it's just a really excellent song. I really, really do like it.
Yes, yes. So so far side one's going very well. And side one ends with Emerald Lies, which is interesting. It's an interesting tune. It comes in kind of aggressive actually.
Mm.
And then but then it kind of backs off a little bit. And I love the unison harmony guitars. Let me just say that. Like I just that Roth, I mean, everybody I keep saying like you, everyone seems to get a spotlight on this record. Everyone in the band at some point seems to get a spotlight. And Emerald Lies kind of just it's sort of like it gets me like I'm not quite sure why, but it's very subtle, like subtly kind of pulls me in. What do you think about this track?
I think that you're absolutely right. I think the subtle kind of ebb and flow between the moodier, mellower sections and then the more exuberant sections just really works so well. It's a
Mhm.
song that is continually ebbing and flowing. Um,
Yeah,
and I really like, same again, this is it. This is an album where everyone kind of gets a moment in the sun. This is maybe a song where everyone gets a moment in the sun because Pete Travis's bass is kind of pulling everybody through. It's so important what he's doing because he's allowing the keyboards to go off and do what they want to do and kind of take your attention. But then for the guitars to kind of burst in and have their moment. And what Pete Travis is doing is just keeping it really interesting without overdoing it. You've
yeah.
got tribal drums again, and then you've got Fisher goes,
Tribal drums, yes. Yeah.
Innocence is
Yeah.
his vocals at this, and I love his vocals right up until when he retired.
Yeah.
But his vocals at this stage are just so eye catching.
Yes, they
There's so
are.
much that he does, and there's so much that's going on, and the confidence in the delivery is fantastic. And then when you go and hear some of the live stuff that they're doing at this point,
Mhm.
he's so captivating. It's unreal.
Yeah, he really is. His vocals are just throughout this whole record, really, they get your attention. They really, really do. I mean, he's working hard to do it, you can tell, and it's working. It's working for me. So then we flip the album over to side two, And so side one, strong. I mean, that's pretty strong side for me. And then we flip it over to She Chameleon, and this is kind of where things we get a little bit of a curveball here, a little different. Very mellow, atmospheric, kind of repetitive on purpose keyboard riff kind of thing.
Yep.
Um, Kind of sounds like, again, like you were talking about the personal lyrics. It kind of sounds like a one night stand, possibly gone awry. Um, and I love the lyrics are kind of compelling. Um, but this one, I don't know. This one, I have conflicting feelings about. Um, I do think that the album needs sort of like a pullback of sorts, and we had that on the first record as well. There's like moments where songs where you kind of pull back, and like you said about the last record, you can't, you have to, you have to form a set list live, and you can't always be like the
Yeah,
whole time
absolutely.
jackhammer. You got to pull back on occasion and bring it down. And this is kind of that. This is that song on this record, and but I can't help but feel like maybe this song's a little bit underdeveloped.
Mm.
Like, there's like something that kind of bugs me about this song. Like, I like it, but I still enjoy it, but it feels a little bit like maybe this was one of the songs that got a little rushed. I don't know. What do you think?
Well, I think interesting because on disc two and disc three of this deluxe set here, you get a live show from the tour, okay? And interspersed with other songs, they play the album from start to finish. So they don't just kind of pick it up and play the whole thing. You get older songs mixed through, other than She Chameleon. It's the only thing that doesn't get played here.
Okay.
So you too must have felt, because I sat and thought about that. So did they not play it live? Because where do you put it in a set? As we spoke about, you don't want a set just to continually do this, because then everyone's shattered before you get to the
Yeah.
end,
Right.
realistically. You need
Right.
the kind of peaks and troughs. But I think that kind of church organ, you
Yeah.
either start the show with that and the song isn't a show starter,
Right. Right.
or what do you do with It's an odd kind of thing. I don't know where you would put that in, because whatever you've played before, it just changes the mood entirely. And I mean, I'm
Yes.
sure they have played it live at certain points. I don't know that for a fact, but I'm sure they must have done. But I can kind of see, and it's interesting you said underdeveloped, because I've never really thought that until you said it. Then you go, yeah, yeah, okay. Especially compared to everything else. The only consideration I would maybe give is, and you've got it there. I've got this,
Mm.
and I've got other versions on CD as well. But it does start side two, so I suppose it is kind of saying, well, here we go again. We're starting with it's all about album dynamics, I suppose. So you side one is perfect and it ends really well.
Right.
So then side two kind of picks off again from let's start slow and moody and build. The difference
Right.
is Sassing builds quickly.
Right.
She Chameleon kind of builds into Incubus.
Yes.
So you've
Right.
got a big
Right.
strong build
Yes.
here. It's maybe too much build, and it never quite gets beyond the build. Never
Right.
quite gets to what they were trying to build. It's just
Right.
continually put more and more on top until you go, oh, it's finished now.
Yes. Oh, it's
No.
over. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like compared, like you said, compared to everything else on the record, you're kind of like, oh wow, that was different.
Yeah.
Um, and it's like I said, I don't dislike it. I think
I'm
it's
saying
kind of cool, and I do love like the lyrics seem like super personal and pretty like compelling. Um,
the lyrics are, I believe, more to do with, and this is a kind of, I would suggest, a topic of its time. It's more to do with a woman kind of sleeping her way to the top.
yeah. Yeah.
Is
Right.
what it is. So yes, one night stands that don't necessarily go right, but they're one night stands for a reason. So whether it's groupies or whether it's about getting on at work or whatever it may be, I'm not convinced it's a topic that Fish would cover in quite the same way now.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's about the she chameleon being able to change its colours to suit the situation.
Like that. Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
and all of that kind of thing. That's the metaphor that we're trying to
Right.
go with. And even that's maybe laid on a bit thick as someone that loves Fish's lyrics.
Right.
That
Right.
to me is one that you kind of, if when you really sit and read it, you kind of, it's a clever lyric, it's really well written, I really like it. I
Mm.
don't necessarily like the story quite so much on
Right.
that. But then
Right.
maybe that's 2025 me talking as well. I probably didn't think that when I first heard the album.
Yeah. Yeah, right. Yeah. Oh, wow, this is kind of, yeah, juicy.
Yeah, yeah,
Um, yeah, so but yeah, so anyway, so that's She Chameleon, and then as you mentioned, it goes right into Incubus, which,
mm,
ooh, I mean, wow. I mean, you know, I love Incubus. What can I say? I'm just gonna come up with my cards on the table. It's like a mini epic that got that, I just think that this is Marillion like just killing it. I love the breakdown in the middle, the tasteful the guitar solo. Oh, Steve the Rothery guitar solo,
yeah,
so good.
yeah,
Um, Very cool ending, which is like a third part of the song. I mean, it's got three kind of distinct parts. It's almost like an extended coda. And I have Fish giving it 110% on
yeah,
vocals.
absolutely.
And Ian Mosley killing it. I mean, and then there's a little female vocals in there. So what's your take on Incubus?
Yeah. If side two doesn't start brilliantly, it's fantastic from there on in. And there's cards on the table. That's the next two songs I'm
Yeah.
talking about.
Yeah.
This is great stuff, and it's easy to see why. Certainly Fish, because Marillion obviously, for obvious reasons, don't play quite so much from this era at all these days.
Hmm.
But Fish still went back to things like Incubus and Fugazi really until late on.
Yeah.
And it's easy
Yeah.
to see why, because these are great songs.
They are. They're so
Really, really great songs. And again, vocally, there's so much here to kind of just hang your hat on. That the performance is just begun. It's just
yeah.
it's so powerful. Often think of Fish and go, do you know what? He's a great lyricist and he's a great storyteller, but he was never a brilliant singer. And then you hear certain songs and you go, oh, do you know what? He was a brilliant singer too.
You know what? Exactly. Pretty damn good actually. Yeah.
Yeah. He doesn't just embody the song, he is really singing these songs
Yeah.
really, really well.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's same again. I really like Mark Kelly right across this album. His stuff
Yes.
on the debut is
Yes.
brilliant, but he's like the colour man on the debut
Yeah.
quite often, where suddenly he'll kind of give you that bit that goes, "Oh, here we go, it's a bit of fun time."
Yeah. Yep.
This album, anything, he's actually giving you more heft, and
Right.
it's really about kind of
Yes.
atmosphere and darkness and denseness. And he does a lot of that on here. There's a lot of kind of mystery in the main melody here as well, and it's just so well put together. This band were really. It's easy to see with the one major change that came from here why the four musicians have stayed together, because you just can't really imagine them bringing somebody else into this mix and having that connection in
Yeah.
the same way. I think it's apparent right from the start of Marillion that these guys knew that this was it,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
they're so sympathetic to each other's needs throughout an awful lot of this. You never feel like it's not like Steve Hackett was ever going to get like recorded out of the mix. That's not going to happen to Steve
Right.
Rothery here. You
Right.
never feel that
Right.
Mark Kelly wants to dominate the band. That's not going to happen here.
Right.
Do you know, Ian
Yeah.
Mosley is a fantastic drummer, but he doesn't feel the need to shove it down your throat. He just plays some great stuff. It's
Yes.
often time signatures that you don't realize are really complex until you listen to them, because the music isn't necessarily complex, but he's been allowed to express something else that's just within the song. And it's that understanding between them all that I think is as clever and exciting as just the actual songwriting. There seems to be very little old, and let's take Fish out of the equation here. There seems to be very little ego involved at this point between the musicians. And I would even say that there's not much ego from Fish at this point. That would manifest
That
later on.
manifests. Right. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. That changes. And let's go two albums down. When you get to things like Incommunicado, and he's talking about fame in a kind of way that maybe represents this in certain ways.
Yes.
Um,
Yes. Yep.
that's when he's acknowledging that maybe he's changed a bit. At this point, yes, he's an egotist. I think he would probably tell you that.
Hmm.
Even at this point, he was quite candid about the fact that he liked things being about him, but it was
Yep.
about him for the band at this stage. He's still the band's main cheerleader.
Right.
Absolutely
Yep.
all for the band. And if it makes me look great at the same time, that's fantastic. Whereas the other four guys seem to be just going, let's all be fantastic. Can't we just all be fantastic?
Can't we just all be great? Come on.
Yeah, come on, just love each other.
Yeah. I love that you brought up Mark Kelly. It's I'm not talking about him enough because you're right. It's almost like he's like the secret sauce. Like he's kind of like this. you don't really realize what he's bringing as much. And you said, like you said, he's not like he doesn't need to dominate the mix. He comes up when he needs to come up, and then he pulls back again. And like you said, he's always putting in really just. You're right. This band is just really they're tight. They're very tight.
Yeah, I think that that was always the strength and remains the strength. I mean, I like Marillion not 100% through all the eras. Every band has dips. Marillion are no different.
Sure.
Thankfully, in my humble opinion, right back in their stride again with the last couple of albums. But
Right.
this has
Yes.
always been the blend of those four main guys and Fish, or the four main guys and Hogarth. And I know that a lot of people don't connect with both sides, and I'm cool with that because I do get it.
Right.
With Marillion, maybe Season's End kind of joins in with this era musically.
Yes.
And then the rest of it kind of becomes a different Marillion. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with one Marillion and
Sure.
two Marillion in
Yeah.
that sense. A lot of people would prefer to keep them separate. And I'm okay with that too. But
Yeah.
yeah, the strength has been the 4-stroke 5 working together, I think. And that's always been apparent.
Yeah. For sure. For sure. And then it comes out in spades on the title track, Fugazi. Like, again, starting with solo piano. Speaking of Mark Kelly, and then the vocal to it just again, I love when they do this. And then that perfectly clean guitar, that Rothery clean guitar comes in, and they got the call and response vocal, and it's just, oof, I don't know what to say about this song. It's such a Marillion epic. It's just so good. It's something sometimes when you're just fanboying over something, it's hard to like talk about exactly what gets you going about it. But there's a lot of things happening on this song, and it's got the anthemic thing, it's got the ensemble playing you're talking about, it's got the do you realize? I mean, he's got the great Fish vocal. I mean, come on, there's just so much going on in this track. It's just so hard to like. It's if you're a Marillion fan, you just and then the whole, where are the prophets? Where are the poets? It just the lyrics great. I don't know what else to say. What do you think?
It's amazing that you can put together, and Marillion have done it more than once, a prog epic that becomes a setlist centerpiece because it's a sing along. Where are the prophets?
It's yes.
Where are the visionaries? I mean,
They
you
have
look
a
for
lot
these.
of this going on,
Yeah,
always.
perfect. Absolutely, they do. There are songs on this album where they are clever enough in the middle of a kind of dark, dense, atmospheric, harsh lyric to put in a bit that makes you jump up and down during the concert.
Yes.
They understand that it has to be fun. It has
Yeah.
to be fun. You've got to have release, but they'll give you so much release and then they pull it all back and they take it away from you again. And then they give it
Yes.
back to you so you can
Right.
jump up and down again.
Oh, I
And
can jump again. Here we go. Yeah. Exactly.
absolutely, yeah. So this is a bit of sing along to, and this is a bit of
Yeah.
jump up and down to, and you get all of that within this one song.
Right.
We've
Right.
given you almost the set list in one song. And I mean, lyrically, I mean, the guy's a master, really, because it's a lyric about, for want of a better turn of phrase, I mean, Fugazi, it's all fucked up. That is his comment on
Yes.
the world.
Right. Yeah.
It is more relevant today than it probably even was when it was written. So,
Pretty
I mean,
much.
you're probably never going to go wrong with the world's all fucked up lyric because it's going to always be relevant.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
really feels like it's a touch point when you go and read these lyrics or sing along with them as I do. You just look at it and you kind of go, he's not wrong, is he? He's not wrong,
Not wrong. No.
you know. But they managed to do that within a song, as I say, that you would jump up and down to at a gig. So yeah, it's the high point of the album, and they've kept it for last, in my humble opinion. It's really, I mean, we talk, and this is the interesting thing when you break an album down. Do I prefer Fugazi the song to Assassin? No. As part of the album, which is more effective, to me, it's Fugazi because it
Right.
closes that journey out in such a phenomenal way that it couldn't be anywhere else on the album other than kind of reaffirming everything you've listened to. All 7 songs, bang, we're done now. Good
Yep.
night, and
Yep.
it's the way to do
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. I like it. I like it. We talk about this a little bit with Market Square Heroes. There's they do have this ability to be, and I think that's why they were so popular live because they have that anthemic thing going on a lot. No.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
They they really did understand. It's been interesting if you go back and watch some early footage of the band. They're a real force. What is
Yeah. Yeah.
interesting is I'm going to quote my good friend Lewis from the Sea Tranquility channel. Progressive rock, Marillion rocked back at this stage.
Yeah.
They,
Mhm.
they, they are a rock band that understand how to write rock songs, but they just happen to make them into progressive epics at the same time. But this band rocks. They're really solid and they hit hard when they want to.
Yeah.
And that is the key to what's going on during this era. And they can throw in a song like Jigsaw in the middle of that and not lose the plot. Let's not rock for a minute or two and let's do something different. And that is just the strength of this album. I say again, we're album writing. We're definitely album writing. To
Right.
really
Yeah.
there was a beginning, a middle, and an end to both sides, but definitely to this album, I would suggest. And that's maybe why She Chameleon kind of goes in the middle.
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
Quite
Right.
fit in the journey, in my humble opinion.
Yeah.
It's good, but and especially on CD, you get to the middle of the album and you kind of go, but it wasn't meant to be in the middle of the album, I guess, in that sense. You were meant to get up and turn it over and put the needle down again. So
Right. Right. Yeah.
maybe
Yeah.
it was the punctuation for that a long times I've listened to it on vinyl. It's not one of the ones that's behind me here. So yeah, I haven't
Yeah.
had that experience. So I maybe should get up and press pause, sit down, get back up and press play again.
Absolutely. So would you say the Fugazi's kind of like in the Fish era, Fugazi's kind of like the dark horse record a little bit? Yeah, I mean it's kind of in between, like everyone loves the debut and then everyone loves Misplaced Child. I mean it's kind of like this record in between. It's almost like Peter Gabriel 2 or something. You know what I mean?
I think it's the kind of enigmatic album of the four. The people who
Right.
love it. The people
Yeah.
who love this album will tell you, no, 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 it's the best of the four.
Yeah,
It's
what are you talking
absolutely the
about?
best of the
Yeah.
four. Start to
Right.
finish, best of the four. It's the strongest. It's got the best lyrics. It's summed up everything about early Marillion before they became the concept singles band and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I would suggest that for not the majority, not the vast majority, but maybe the majority, yeah, it's the dark horse. It's the one that is not quite as in your face as a debut. It's
Right.
not quite as magnificent as Misplaced Childhood. It's not quite as, I think, accomplished as my favourite of the four, which is Clutching at Straws.
Right.
Um, but yeah, it is. It's maybe the one that it's not until you put it on that you go, "Wow, this is fantastic, isn't it?" It kind of gets lost in the shuffle of the four of them in that sense. Yeah,
I say
yeah,
that a lot. I say that a lot on this channel. I always go, I forgot how good this was.
yeah, yeah,
You know, but you kind of do. You haven't listened to it in a couple of years. You know, all
yeah.
you listen to it in a while and pull it out. All of a sudden, you pull it out and you go, "Oh yeah, this album's rocking. This is a rocking Marillion record, man." Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. And
So,
it is worth also, I will mention the B side to Assassin, so Cinderella Search.
oh yes, yes, right,
That,
yes,
that is so good that She Chameleon didn't make the set list, but Cinderella Search did. That's
did
an interesting thing where a band's not
yeah,
playing all the songs on the album, but they will play the B side from the single. But they
yeah.
play the B side from the single because it's really, really good. It's really, really good.
It is good.
But
Yeah,
it wouldn't fit on the album, I don't think. That
yeah.
would I
That's interesting. I think you're right about that. Yeah,
think it's a song that they wrote and really liked, wanted to use. This has got an extended mix on this, so they liked it enough to do something else with it. But then when you look at the album, you go, well, where would you put that? It's too fragile. If Jigsaw is fragile and it's got that kind of music box section at the start,
right,
Cinderella
right.
Search kind of has a similar sort of pattern.
Yeah, yeah,
They don't sound the same, but the construction is similar. I would suggest that Cinderella Search is better, but Jigsaw fits on the album more.
yeah,
And again,
yeah.
that is very clever. Whoever decided to go, do you know what? We really like this song.
Right.
Doesn't actually work on here. It's not going to work on here. So let's
Yeah.
hold it back. And I know that Steve Rothery in recent years, when he's gone out and played solo, has also included this in the set. So
Wow.
it's interesting that it still resonates with him now. It's a lovely guitar piece as well, has to be said. So I
Yeah.
can understand why he would want to play it live.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's worth a mention because it's better, arguably, than some of the album material, but I don't want it on the album. I,
Yeah.
I,
Yeah.
And I'm glad that with this deluxe version, certainly with this one, I can't remember with all of them, they don't put the B sides after the album. You get the album
You get
and
the
it
yeah,
finishes, and then
yeah,
the B sides are on the Blu-ray, so they are all there,
right.
but the album is allowed to be the album.
Be it by itself. Yeah.
Yeah, I love a bonus track, and I'm always with my music. I'm a great believer of more is more. If there's
Hmm.
a person that's got more songs, I want the more songs. I want all the songs. Give me all the music, and then I'll often say, "Yeah, but it's too long, isn't it?"
Yes,
Oh,
exactly.
yeah. So I love it when they don't mess about with the original album and you still get the start to finish journey that you've known for decades, rather than those 7 songs. Oh, and here's the B side.
Yeah.
Cinderella, this would sound wrong after Fugazi, wouldn't it? You would just go,
Yeah, it would. It would. It wouldn't. Even as a bonus track, you'd be like,
yeah, doesn't make any sense
wouldn't
there.
make. And I love that you're very focused on the album, like you and I am too. Like
Yep,
there's the album is a piece of art, and it's one. It's you know what I mean. It's like don't mess with the album. Like stay with
absolutely.
and the album works as a flow with a flow and everything. I just yeah, I agree with you, and
I
I don't
think,
think it would
yeah,
fit.
I, I think there was an era, not necessarily with Marillion, but it was an era in general where we kind of lost that art. And
Right.
I would say that personally, I really liked it in maybe the last kind of 5, maybe not all 10 years, but within the last decade, more and more bands, because probably the resurgence of vinyl, have kind of gone, no, let's create albums again. Let's make
Yeah.
albums. Let's make
Yeah.
journeys from there to there. And if people want to make a playlist that's got just this on it and that on it, and that, well, let them do that. Let's not us worry about that so much. That's
Yeah.
a young guy's game. You know,
Yeah.
that's the young band releasing a song and another song and another song and another song. There's
Right.
good to both, but I like an album. Yes,
I like still like
I,
album.
yeah. Unless it's a new song that a band have just put out, and I'm listening to it on YouTube or whatever. I listen to albums. That's what I do. I always
I
listen to an
do
album.
the same way. I'm the same way. I'm very pure, kind of purist about it. But what are you gonna do? I I was gonna say tangent alert really fast. You're
Mhm.
talking about bonus tracks, like kind of like messing up the flow or whatever. Talk about the worst example of that was when XTC put out their albums. They reissued their records on CD and they put like bonus tracks in the middle. They put like
Oh,
they put like 3 or 4 songs that were like extras in between one and side two. Is like, what? What is happening right now? That
yeah.
was the weirdest thing I've ever seen.
Even the recent Fish reissues. So he did deluxe versions that look actually bigger than these, but quite similar, of his first 2 albums. And he felt that both of those, because of the constraints of vinyl at the time, or just with internal exile, he just didn't like the flow of it.
Hmm.
He changed the track order and he inserted the B sides in. And I love those albums. And the deluxe versions are fabulous. Can't listen to the album like that. That's not the album I know. Suddenly it becomes an album I don't know. Even if you could argue that the flow is better, and I'm not going to argue it's not. He wrote the songs. I'm on board with that.
Yeah,
Not my album now. That's not my album.
that's not my record.
Your
That's
record be
not my album. All right, people. Well, that's I think we covered it. I don't know what else there is to say unless you have any concluding comments about Fugazi.
what I'm going to ask you, Tom, is I'm going to ask you: do you prefer script or do you prefer Fugazi?
Oh, wow. That's tough. I think script might have it by like a hair.
Hmm.
I think I'd have to go my heart wants what the heart wants. I would say script. But it's oof, after this week I'm going, man, it's like a dead heat. It's very it's like a hair. It's very
Yeah.
close.
See, I was mean because I asked you that question and you weren't expecting it. And I'm going to sit on the fence because I think Fugazi is a better album.
Right.
I would
Right.
prefer script.
Yeah, there's something about script. There's something about the debut that's like just I don't know, I don't know, there's just something about it. It's hard to put my finger on, but
There's spark about it that is just, I think bands can only capture it once or twice in an entire career. And
that's
it
I
has
think that might be
spark.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's like this energy on that first record
Yeah.
that's and it's more a little more maybe arguably people might disagree with this. Arguably a little bit more proggy, possibly,
I would say so. Yeah.
than this one. This one's definitely, there are a couple songs that are kind of like you said, they're kind of going for radio play, maybe a little bit. I don't know if they're doing that as much on the debut. I don't know. Anyway, it's very close, but I'm gonna go debut. I'm gonna go debut.
Yeah, as am I, and that is after absolutely slavering about how good this album is.
Yes, exactly. I mean, that's how good these records are. That's why we talk about them because we're just very
Yeah,
passionate about these whole the band. So and all of these albums. So there you go. There you go, people. There. What do you guys think? Let us know in the comments. I read the comments. What do you guys think of Fugazi? Maybe people are going to go, man, Fugazi's my absolute favorite record of that era. You know, no, I'm that, and I wouldn't disagree with you. I wouldn't like say you're crazy. So, but and that we might get some of that. So we'll see. But hit like and hit subscribe. It helps the channel. Appreciate it. Steven, thank you so much for coming back.
absolute pleasure, Tom. This has been a blast, as the first one was, and I knew this one would be too.
That's right. We're not done yet, people. We're gonna be there. There's gonna be more. It's coming. So thanks everybody. We appreciate it. And we'll see you next time on Curless Mania. See ya.